Ultralight hiking is and has become very popular the past couple of years, and you see more and more ultralight gear in the shops. The promise for a lighter backpack and a better hiking experience without reduced comfort or safety attracts a lot of new people tired of heavy, cumbersome equipment. But there are a few things they are not telling you, some that will increase the weight of your backpack with 100% and still be able to call it ultralight. These are the things we will talk about in today's episode, where I will reveal the secrets they are not telling you before you go ultralight. Stay tuned for Ultralight Hiking Exposed. I love ultralight hiking, and if I knew before what I know today, I would have changed to ultralight gear a long time ago. But the goal for 10 pounds or the 4.5 kilo in the metric system, as wonderful as it may sound, is only an illusion.
You say what?
Well, the base weight will still be the same, but what you end up carrying is a lot more. Why that is, and a total of 6 interesting facts about UL, is the focus for today, where we expose ultralight hiking for what it really is. Because some advice given just don't add up. This is the first one. What they are not telling you is that even if you have reached your goal of the 10 pounds, you still need to add food. And if not careful, it could increase the weight of your backpack by 100% or more. So the nice 10 pounds you were so excited about now all of a sudden is 20 pounds, and that is not as nice. To keep the weight down on your food to a minimum, and we're talking about maybe 600 to 700 grams a day here, there is a few easy things that you can do. Aim for high calorie food. Bring nuts as snacks. They're like 600 calories per 100 grams. Add oil into your food. 1 tablespoon is like 135 added calories. Bring freeze-dried food or ramen noodles. That is the absolute lightest way to go. Repack your food into smaller freezer bags and use a meal coaster to keep it warm while soaking and for easier handling when it is warm. Don't bring a lot of extra food, and a Snickers or 2 is perfectly fine for emergencies. Don't bring food for the entire hike if you're hiking more than 4 to 5 days, and instead restock at the mountain cabins. But be sure to check the availability where you're hiking before the trip. This is just a few things that you can do when it comes to food, but why don't you all give your best advice on how to reduce the weight of the food by leaving a comment. The second thing people don't talk about is that wet gear will increase your base weight. When you weigh your gear on the scale at home, everything is nice and dry, and I'm talking about gear like the tent, the backpack, the sleeping bag or quilt, the puffer jacket, and well, everything that can absorb a little bit of water will eventually do so in wet conditions. And one gear in particular, the tent, will increase the weight considerably after a rainy night, and especially silk nylon tents. So a tent weighing in at 1 kilo at home could increase in weight by 10 to 20% if wet or more. Exactly how much depends on the material, the thickness, the DWR coating and such, but it will absorb a fair amount of water, and I think everyone with a silk nylon tent can testify to that. DCF in comparison does not soak up any water, but it's hard not to get any water inside if packing up in rain. So even if you're using a DCF tent, the weight of your tent will increase, just not as much. And the same goes for a sleeping bag that gets damped, your backpack that will get wet, and yeah, you get the picture. Wet conditions increases the weight of your gear, period. The third thing on our list today of things they are not telling you, but one that you might have figured out yourself, is that beside the gear and the food, you also need to add water. And nothing will increase the weight as much as water. So the 10 pounds is just not 10 pounds anymore. The easy solution to the problem is to carry less water and add a water filter. But despite the many different options when it comes to water filtration, I still see a lot of people carrying a lot. Don't do that unless you're hiking in an area where it is difficult to find water. Use a water filter and bring enough bottles for the stretches without or with less water. But even if you do that, you still will be carrying about 1 kilo of added weight many times. Myself, I usually carry 2 50 centiliter bottles, 1 in each mesh pocket of my shoulder straps. And as a backup, I use my 1 liter Hydra Pack bottle, so a total capacity of 2 liters. And I find that to be perfectly fine, but again, it all depends on where you're hiking. Prepare and adapt. Our number 4 is that if taking the often given advice to use trail runners instead of boots on your hikes, your feet will get wet and stay wet for a longer period of time if hiking in rain or if doing a lot of water crossings. Now, for most people, this is not an issue, but for some it truly is, and your feet will end up a big mess with the risk of problems. It took me a while to try this for myself, and I was a bit skeptical at first, but after using trail runners now for many years, I will never go back trying to keep my feet dry. But that doesn't mean it will work for you, so please, before you fully convert, try it and see how your feet will react being wet for a longer period of time, with the only possibility to dry up during the night, and then change only if it works. We are all different, so no shame in that. You can still be an ultralight hiker and use boots. Just saying. Number 5 is that what you carry in your pockets does not include in your base weight. Yep, that is accepted and the correct way of calculating base weight. So big pockets where you can stuff a lot of gear into is a good idea if you want to reduce your base weight. Jokes aside, this is true, but something that might not matter that much. I usually have my phone there, a small pocket knife perhaps, and a lighter. That's it. But still, if you had big pockets and could stuff your tent in there and be able to hike that way, it would make it much easier to achieve the goal of the 10 pounds. Our final number 6, and before we end this amazing episode about UL exposed, and this is an interesting topic because quite often you hear people not bringing a pillow because of the added weight and recommend others doing the same. Sure, there are people that are fine not using a pillow, but for getting a good night's sleep on the trail, it is a good idea trying to replicate what you use at home. And most of us use a pillow. And they don't need to weigh that much. My Dream Sleeper, for example, weighs in at 44 grams, and 2 other popular pillows I was recommended when I did a poll in my community post about pillows is the Sea to Summit Aeros pillow at 60 grams and the Nemo Philo at 80 grams. Thanks Jesus Rodriguez, Saif84 and Smoofinef. Well, I can't pronounce that, sorry, but thanks anyways for the recommendations. Another recommendation that I see frequently is to use a stuff sack and fill it with clothes and that way get multiple use of your gear. And that might sound amazing, but it doesn't add up. As an ultralight hiker, you only bring what's necessary, and because of that, you don't bring a lot of spare clothes to be used as a pillow, beside the ones that you're using during the day, and they don't make for a good pillow, and especially when wet. Then you rather hang them to dry or something. Some say also you can use your puffy as your pillow, but for me, I use it to sleep in when the temperature drops a little bit more than expected, so it's a no can do for me many times. So be smart and bring a pillow and increase your comfort. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode about ultralight hiking exposed, and that you will have good use of the small tips and tricks in the future. And if you have anything to add, just leave a comment. But for now, this is it. If you liked today's episode, take a look at these 2 recommendations on my other videos. Also do hit like, subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any future content. I hope to see you again next week, but for now, take care, safe hiking and bye bye.